Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Rafael's Insights. This is going to be the video for the predictions of November and the weeks to come, the months to come. You guys already know I like to say it like that because what happens is that sometimes I see it in this month, and I predict it for this month that's coming up, November, and then it happens sometimes the following month. So I like to say it like that. The predictions of November in the weeks to come or the months to come, because it could happen later on or it can happen, but once I see it, it's going to happen. Eventually it'll happen, even if it takes time, even if I get the time wrong. Eventually it'll happen, because timing is hard to pinpoint. That's a given. Timing is very hard to pinpoint, but you guys already know that I like to predict about everything, and I like to give my all in everything that I do. Now, before we get started, you guys already know we got to harmonize the energies. Remember, these sprays, you can purchase them off of my TikTok shop or my Etsy. I think I'm going to keep my TikTok shop just because, but I'm not going to really promote it on my Etsy. I think a lot of people prefer my Etsy. My TikTok shop is very strange. TikTok itself is very strange in terms of the TikTok shop. But you guys can purchase my product either on my TikTok shop or on my Etsy. If you guys are here, just go down in the description below, find the link for Etsy, click it, and you check out my products. There's a lot of good things there. If you need cleanses, there's egg cleanses. If you need candles for specific situations, there's that. If you need protection charms, like protection bracelets, 7-knot bracelets, evil eye bracelets, they're all there. So go ahead and go check it out. But first things first, you guys. The first thing that I want to tell you guys is that the card of the Justice is going to be dominating the month of November itself. But the energy of the Justice is going to also continue on for the rest of the year. It's just the energy comes in and it starts showing me things, and some of it lingers for a while. That's why I say it like that. But the card of the Justice, the number 11. The number 11, number 1 is the number of God. Did you guys know that? The number 1 is the number of God, and the number 11 has 2 ones in it. But to me, what I see is not that the number 11 is God himself. The number 11 is the gates of heaven. The number 11 is the gates of heaven, and we know this because this is when all of our loved ones in my culture come from the other side to visit us for Day of the Dead. And that's why I tell you the number 11 is the gates of heaven, or the doorway to the other side. A lot of energies come through. One of the energies that come through because of the number 11 is it's the gates of heaven, the angels. There's going to be a lot of presence of angels. There's going to be a lot of positive energy in the month of November. It's going to calm down a lot of radical things that have been happening, but there's still going to be radical things happening. It's not the end of radical situations, radical movements in terms of climate, in terms of chaotic situations, but it is going to bring a grace, and it's going to bring the energy of God and the angels closer to earth to put a halt to a lot of things. But the card of the Justice dominates us in terms of the gates of heaven, in terms of positive energies, in terms of blessings that are coming. Now, one of the things that I see in terms of these angels that I see coming through, these beings that are coming through the gates of heaven, is that wars are coming to an end, that they're going to bring the energy of halting wars or completely stopping them. And a war that I see that's coming to an end, that is either going to come to an end in November or soon, is the war between Russia and Ukraine. That war is going to completely come to an end either in November or in the next few months, but I see it coming to an end soon. The other thing that I see in terms of wars is that the war between Israel and Gaza is also going to come to an end soon. And in terms of Israel and Hamas, Gaza, Palestine, that war is going to come to an end or a halt, and then it's going to pick up again. That's going to be a repetitive cycle. Their cycle is going to continue in terms of the way that they are. But the card of the Temperance tells me the war in between Israel and Gaza specifically is coming to an end. Unfortunately, I see that Gaza is completely destroyed, or that it's going to be completely destroyed. And now the people that lived in Gaza are going to have to move to other locations. There's going to be no Gaza. I don't see Gaza anymore, or I see it very like completely destroyed or very, very destroyed. But I do see it coming to an end, or either like a ceasefire, like it just completely comes to an end, either soon or in the month of November. The other thing that I also see is, aside, when I say there's a lot of energies that are coming through, aside from angelic, there's also energies of the other side, the darker side. And in terms of that, unfortunately, these wars are coming to an end, but a new one starts. A new one starts. I'm seeing China and invading Taiwan, or starting to make their move in terms of invasions, in terms of planning, in terms of movements. I'm getting visions of like boats or something stationed outside of Taiwan, or something along the lines of that. But aside from those wars that are coming to an end, I see a new one starting, unfortunately. Very, very sad that we can't just be at peace. We can't just be at peace, and things just continue to be very, very chaotic. I do see that it's going to be a month of lots of water. I do see that the moon is going to be dominating. I see lots of water in a lot of locations. I'm looking at my notes if you guys are wondering what I'm looking at. I see a lot of water in the Caribbean, in the UK, Asia, Europe, Canada, Australia. It seems like in a lot of different locations, like floods, storms, intense storms. And I see a lot of flooding in the month of November. But I also see that hurricanes are going to continue to form, that hurricanes or tropical storms are going to continue to form, and it's going to be in the same locations, either the Caribbean, either for the United States, or either for Latin America, obviously, right? And in terms of something that I'm seeing for the Caribbean, I still see a lot of flooding. I still see a lot of water. That most likely the hurricane that I'm seeing forming is going to go to the Caribbean, or in general as well. There's going to be more hurricanes or tropical storms forming. But in the Caribbean, I'm seeing a lot of death. The Caribbean, there's two places that I see a lot of death. The Caribbean and Australia. And we'll talk about Australia in just a second. The other thing that I see for Australia is that the sun is going to continue dominating Australia. There's bushfires going on right now, which I had already told you that I saw fires in Australia. But I just had another vision, and I just saw that there's an intense fire coming to Australia, and it looks like it's going to be soon. It looks like there's an immense fire either towards the end of November or the beginning of December. I see an intense fire as well. The cold is coming in very strong. I had already told you guys that the cold was coming in very strong. It's coming in very aggressive. It almost seems like we didn't have a break between summer and winter. It's just going to change that fast. It's going to change that fast. The temperature's already dropping. I had already told you guys that I saw that the cold is coming in very strong, and they're already announcing it. And in terms of the cold, I see snow falling in places already, reaching places earlier than usual. And I also see intense ice storms, intense snowstorms. The snowstorms could be a little bit later on into the winter, but I see them like intense, like very aggressive, and it seems like it's something like almost like back to back. Again, the way that the summer surprised us with fires in like Hawaii and these hurricanes that were uncontrollable, unpredictable, the cold is going to do the same thing. There's going to be an immense storms because I'm seeing them like almost like back to back or very aggressive. So the cold arrives in everywhere sooner than usual. The snow arrives sooner than usual. Right now, what I'm seeing is more of like lots of water, ice, and snow starting to fall. And for a lot of locations, like just ice. But definitely the cold is going to be very aggressive, very radical. I do see earthquakes. I am seeing earthquakes in terms of the card of the sun. I do see earthquakes. I see earthquakes and that they're going to continue. I don't know what's going on, but it just seems like it's been nonstop earthquakes this whole year. It just seems like there hasn't been a break. Normally there's a break and then there's an earthquake. And this year it just seems like it's back to back to back to back. I do see a strong earthquake for the United States either in November or December, but I do see a strong earthquake in the United States and also Mexico. Mexico, Latin America in general, I see earthquakes. I still see the earth moving I still see earthquakes in Mexico, Latin America, the US, Asia, and just the earth moving in general. I still see it. It just seems like it's going to continue. And in the moment that we went from having such warm temperatures to all of a sudden super cold, that instant change between the plates being so warm to now starting to cool down is going to release more earthquakes. Definitely. And I do see that it's going to be a month of catastrophes. It still continues very strong in terms of being a month of catastrophes. I see catastrophes in multiple locations, but the energy of the devil is also going to be very present. Since it's a very divine month, the energy of the devil is going to continue to be very present. It's going to be causing accidents in terms of transportation. I see strong accidents in terms of transportations and terror attacks. In terms of terror attacks, I believe I had it written down where. In the US, Europe, UK, Australia. See, this is the thing about the terror attacks. It almost looks like a lot of these places are going to be mimicking the US, because I'm starting to see terror attacks in schools in other countries. And before I hadn't seen that. So just a warning, the energies of terror attacks are going to be very, very present, very aggressive. If we don't need to go out, do not go out. But the energy of the devil, which is going to be causing catastrophes, natural catastrophes, disasters, is going to be present. The other thing that I see in terms of terror attacks, I had a vision and I saw a terror attack or an attempt once again, because it already happened, but I see it again, of somebody trying to take an airplane, a terror attack in a plane or in an airport. But terror attacks in general, I'm seeing them in November. And in terms of that, I feel it in the United States. So, but in general, I'm seeing terror attacks in an airplane or in an airport. Let's see what else. There's so much to talk about, you guys. Let me see. Let me just make sure. Let me look at my notes, because there's so much that I honestly cannot tell you guys everything. I see an artist falling ill. I see an artist falling ill and being like in the hospital ill. But the other thing that I see is that I do see more artists or famous people passing away. But I still see also in terms of political power, I still see someone falling ill or someone passing away in terms of that as well. And in Europe, there just seems to be an economical crisis that you guys need to be aware of. I see an economical crisis. I see things in terms of Europe getting more complicated financially. I would say Europe, the US, and in terms of the world, I see like things being complicated still in terms of financially. And I had a vision for the Pope. I don't know what's going on with the Pope, but I see another surgery. I see another surgery for the Pope. Here it is. I see another surgery for the Pope. It seems like either he's going to go under the knife again, or he's going to have a problem in terms of health-wise, requiring a surgery or medical treatment. And I do see volcanic eruptions in the month of November, or in the next weeks to come. But I see volcanoes erupting or waking up again, moving. It specifically, again, it looks like it's Latin America, Mexico, Europe, Asia. And then I also see something in terms of Australia, but I feel like that's more so in the future. That's not necessarily now. That volcanic eruption that I'm seeing near Australia or in Australia, it looks like it's more so in the future. I do see that sickness is going to pick up. Sickness is going to pick up, and I do see that it's going to get aggressive in terms of illness, in terms of COVID, in terms of corona. I see that there's going to be two new variants, or I see that that sickness itself is going to pick up. Once the cold arrives, which it already did, it's going to pick up almost immediately and very radically. But I do see new variants, more aggressive, and I do see in terms of either new variants or new sicknesses. And I've mentioned this multiple times. Just like how I mentioned to you guys, the cold was going to be unbearable, aggressive. The same thing with sickness and with COVID, with corona. And one more thing. I see more restrictions, either more laws changing or more restrictions to borders in Europe, the United States, or changes, more changes to travel, in Europe, in the United States. But other than that, you guys, there's so much more, but the video is becoming way too long. There's so much that I wrote down here. I think that's it for today. That's it for today. It was an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys enjoy my videos, my predictions. Let me know when you guys see predictions come true. And yeah, things just continue very aggressive. It just seems to be that there's just such a chaotic energy in the world, and we definitely need to pray to calm it down, to raise the vibration. Other than that, you guys have, I almost forgot something. In terms of the prediction that I had given between the elections in, what was it, in Argentina? Yeah, in Argentina, between Javier Milei and what was his name? Massa, something like that. Massa. That Massa won the first round. They're going for a second round. In the second round, I do see Javier Milei winning. And I still keep my prediction the same. I see Javier Milei winning. I didn't really predict for specifically that round. I just predicted in general. When I said I saw Javier Milei winning, I just predicted it in general, and it seems like it's going to be more so in the second round, because I looked it up again, and I do see Javier Milei winning the second round. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's an absolute pleasure to bring you guys my predictions for November, and it's always a pleasure to bring you guys my predictions. I'm going to try to cut this video into two. Ay, Dios mío. Other than that, you guys have a great day. I'm going to try to, let me do this again. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Happy Halloween. I hope you guys have a great time. I didn't do predictions for Halloween, but we definitely need to continue being vigilant, because these people are crazy right now. There's a lot of crazy people out there right now. And it's an absolute pleasure to bring you guys my warnings and my predictions. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys do, hit the like button, share it. And it's always a pleasure to bring you guys these predictions. You guys have a great day, and happy Halloween.